Welcome back. I said we'd start about 10 minutes early. We're about 3 minutes. Okay. So we're still doing good. We're still running early. A couple of housekeeping items. I want to take a moment to briefly explain the second networking opportunity we have today. Is that okay, Ira?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the way we're going to do the second networking, and understand this is going to be later today, it's going to be after lunch, after Ira's presentation on LinkedIn. You're going to have a chance to come up here if you want to. And you can share about who you are, businesses, and what you're looking for. I think that's going to be fun. Most of you probably found the restrooms, but if you need a bio break at some point, they're all the way down the hall. Make a right, and they're right there in the alcove there. Right before we go on lunch, we're gonna do some giveaways, and then we're gonna talk about lunch. It's actually gonna be in the next room, and I'll be using the wonderful Lily to help me get those out to you guys. With that, we're going to move right back into our speakers. Travis Johnson, right over there, is a naval officer, retired, married with 2 children, and is on move number 50. Can anybody top that? I think I'm going to give you one of the giveaways just because. 50. Marcella, you moved more than 50 times?
Absolutely.
How many times?
Probably close to 7.
She's got you beat, bro.
Well, to be fair.
I didn't know this was celebrity roast. I thought this was networking.
It's everything. Having that higher?
From Travis's humble beginnings, which include 36 moves before graduating high school at age 17, 12 schools, 6 states, 5 foster homes, surviving 2 murder attempts on his life, and a mother with type 1 bipolar disorder. That's Travis. Although this is very rough, understatement of the day, there was always an organization willing to keep him sheltered, clothed, and fed. Now that he's in a position to give back, Travis has made it his mission to help the helpers. Travis hosts a top-rated nonprofit architect podcast, hosted the 2021 Veteran Podcast Awards, and is the only professional podcaster with an accredited course available at the university level. Travis holds a bachelor's in science and received a 4.0 for his master's in human relations.
I can now relate to humans.
Travis started the nonprofit architect while deployed to the Kingdom of Bahrain, a small island in the Persian Gulf, and he took the show to number 4 in the U.S. within 3 months of launching. Now his show is in the top 10 in 7 countries in his niche and top 5% for all podcasters globally. Coming all the way from Oklahoma. Should I start singing? No. Please give a warm welcome to Travis Johnson.
Spoiling my karaoke song for later. Is that pretty much? You know, I was waiting over there because when I saw it on paper, it looked like it was going to take a lot longer to get through. And he's like, "Oh, and Travis just shoot, I better get up there." I heard Zig Ziglar speak about a story about 2 brothers. One of the brothers, the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, wildly successful, and his dad passed away. Company went to a funeral, and he got to meet his twin brother, who was bottom of the barrel, alcoholic, had lots of problems. And he's like, "I didn't know you had a brother. Why don't we talk about it? Families are drunk, all that stuff. And he asked, the brother was like, I don't understand. How did you end up in this situation? He said, you see, my father was an alcoholic. I had no choice. We thought that was very interesting. He asked this friend, who was the CEO of Fortune 500, he's like, how am I going to do? I can't live where you are. He's like, you see, my father was an alcoholic. I had no choice. That's the mystery, right? They both had the exact same choice, and one could do nothing but accept what he was given, what he was shown in front of him, and the other had no choice but to reject everything that he was shown. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes yet. I'm doing the Nonprofit Architect podcast with launching the Titan Evolution podcast. The Titan Evolution podcast actually would probably be a good fit for just about everyone in here, especially Clelland. Looking forward to having her on the show. We talk about what makes someone a Titan. What are the things that they had to go through to get to where they actually are today, and what advice they would have for the future. So much of what we see on social media is just like a highlight reel. Like, these are all the great things I'm doing. Like Joe mentioned, retired naval officer, I host a top-rated podcast. That wasn't always the case. We mentioned 36 schools, 12 schools, 6 states, 5 classrooms, from having 2 murder attempts by family members, having a mother with bipolar disorder. What he didn't mention is that I have a sister who went through almost all the same experiences I did. She moved around all the time, and abandoned from foster care, all these things, but her life looks much different from the life I live right now. I'm relatively well put together, despite a few interpersonal things, based on being able to break, a little weird. I'm okay with it. Her life is, by any measure, what my life should have been. It's a train wreck. She's got 4 kids from 3 different guys. She spent the better part of last year in jail 8 different times. She's having problems with pretty much every facet of her life. If you take this thing in the story, and you ask how we can possibly have 2 different lives, it would be kind of, I don't mean to say that it's coming up to a single choice, because that's not just how life works, right? It's a life full of experience and different choices. When this stuff was happening, or let me back up, Johns Hopkins did a study, and they wanted to figure out when they could interject in a child's life, so they would have a good life, keeping them on games, on drugs, all these things. They tried different programs like DARE. They would keep kids on drugs. Anyone remember what this is for? Yep. Brad, what you got? Oh, no. Drug abuse resistance education. This is kind of a middle school, junior high program, depending on what your school is. They looked at 18 and 16 year olds, 15 year olds, 11 year olds that couldn't find what they could intervene in a child's life and have a lasting impact, because the mold was already set. It wasn't until they got into 2nd grade low that they found they had a chance to interject in a child's life to help them actually change the future. It turns out that from the time we were born to the time about 7 or 8, we are onboarding everything that happens in our world without a filter. We don't know any better. We're just taking it and we're showing. We're shooting the people around what kind of life that we're living, what life's supposed to be like, what are we doing? And it's not until 7 or 8 that you get a filter and you start to say, hey, that's not right. Hey, that doesn't make sense based on the operating system you built for yourselves. That causes a lot of problems, right? If there was abuse in the family, my family member, they said something like, I love you, back to abuse. And then that child lives their whole life until something happens, thinking that abuse is a part of a healthy relationship. I'm sure we all know someone that's in that situation. On the other side of the coin, if you tell your kids when they're growing up that you're beautiful, intelligent, you can accomplish anything, that anything you can see you can create and bring into this world, then when they hear things in middle school like, you're ugly, they're like, no, I'm not. I don't believe that. That's not anywhere in my operating system. It doesn't make sense to have that cognitive dissonance. And they believe that the other person is lying because that's not their operating system. So what does my operating system look like with that kind of childhood? It looks like, hey, hey, we're gonna move all the time. We're gonna meet new people. You never quite know what's going on. You're not sure if you're gonna eat. You're not sure if you're gonna go sleep in the same bed. You're not sure what life's gonna look like. In fact, kindergarten, second grade, fourth grade, and seventh grade, I was in 3 different schools during each of those school years. It wasn't until I was in 4th grade, some kids like, why do you move on all the time? I was like, I don't do that. He's like, no, everyone doesn't do that. That's weird, right? That's what kids say. They notice some things that are like, oh, you're wearing glasses. That's weird. Because they don't know how to behave as human beings. Some people don't. So I changed who I was as a person. I got to speak that. I didn't know I was weird. Started behaving like a jerk, lying, cheating, stealing. After this 3rd move in 4th grade, and then turned into a jerk. And then we stayed there at the same school for 3 years. Like, who knew? I thought I could just get away and do whatever I wanted and be on. But it wasn't until much later that something interjected in my life. We were on Emcee, my uncle, and it was our family, mother, sister, and I, and my mom was having a bipolar episode, saying crazy things. I don't know if you know anyone that has these kind of struggles, but it's like a magnet, and they're not attracting you. They are repelling everyone around them. It's hard to be around. No one has to train for this. Doesn't make sense to a lot of people. People with good cognitive ability, like, can't you just make better choices? That's what would make sense. We got kicked out of the house. I was 2 in the morning. This is in the early 90s, and 15 or 16. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. We're not in my hometown. We're in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota. And he gives me one direction. He said, take this road, turn right at the stop sign. Not at the light, but the stop sign. And then like 20 miles down the road to the St. Cloud, Minnesota. And then you will follow the road, follow the sign to the H, take you to the hospital. So your mom said, he's not going to be able to do it. So I'm 15 or 16, taking my mom to get treated, and she said so many times. And we get there, it's 2, 3 in the morning, and I don't know if you guys know this, but they don't have mental health professionals available after business hours. And in most cases, they still don't. If you go to get mental health help at a hospital, you sit there in a room alone until the person comes in the morning, unless they stay involved. So that's the case. But it's 3 in the morning, so what do? I'm 16, I just went for a New Year's ordeal. My sister and I would fall asleep. I wake up because my mom is climbing on top of me and has a pillow over my face trying to kill me because it's my fault. She's in the hospital. She's still in the middle of one of her episodes. So I push her off the top of me, I grab my sister, we get in the car, and we drive down I-94 and drive west for as long as we can. We find a restaurant, lock the doors, fall asleep. We're awakened by a trucker who would use the CB, not a cell phone, because these beauties weren't around yet. Use a CB to call police officers, see what they figured out. I don't remember much after that. I do remember getting back to the house eventually, and we lived at the time kind of on the edge of the gravel pit. And my sister and I wanted to jump off into the sand to see how far we could go. Safe, I'm sure, very safe. And I remember sitting there, stuck in the sand, screaming for help. Who's going to save me? Who's going to come out? Who's going to hear me grab that whole thing? Nobody, right? Nobody's going to hear me. No one was going to save me. That was the realization. I had to take control of my life at 16 and get away from it. I went to the house, mom got home. I said, here's the deal. I'm moving in with a friend. If you love me, you're not going to say anything about it. You're going to let me go, and I'm just going to move on. It took that catalyst, it took that choice for me to decide that I was worth taking care of, that I was worth saving, that I was worth something. Isn't it so hard for us to believe multiple times a day that we don't have any worth? Well, that little methodology for you. Crown, C-R-O-W-N. See, you gotta make a choice that you want to do better. or you gotta take the responsibility for your life, because whatever's happening, no one's coming to apologize, and even if they do, it's not gonna solve your current problem. Even if the economy gets better, or the economy gets worse, the president apologizes for whatever thing they said or didn't say. Even if the weather gets better, or whatever changes, crypto goes back up or back down, doesn't matter. Because every time these things happen, economy goes down, people are getting rich. Economy goes up, there's people losing their jobs, losing their livelihood. The circumstances don't matter. What matters is the responsibility that you take within yourself when you decide to move forward. We as God's stricken by it. Whatever media you choose to watch, they're showing you what you're scared of, and they tell you from the down how you should feel about it. Right? This is how you should feel about these guys that are lying. Well, here's the deal. If you're pointing that finger at everyone else for your problems, good luck. You can the whole rest of the world no therapy and addiction loss. Good luck. When you take responsibility for yourself, when you take that when you own the rest of your life, and make a decision to get healing and move forward, you can build a life that you want to live. You could be working as a mechanic, painting cars, and you go to stand up and they your back decides it doesn't want to work anymore. All of a sudden you realize that the body's not going to help you do things for the rest of life, and you have to use your mind and other skills and that great smile to build a life that you want to live. When I finally did enlist in this, and we see people around the world that do this all the time, they take responsibility for the situation they're in, even if someone's at fault. When I was a kid, that stuff was happening to me. It's not my fault as a kid. When you're an adult, you make terrible choices, you might be at fault. It doesn't really matter who's at fault. If you're at fault, apologize. If you're not at fault, expect you whenever you get one. You have to take responsibility for your life. Get the healing that you need and move forward with the vision you want to have for yourself. So we go back and look at the crown, you've got to have that choice. Take responsibility, and you have to own the rest of your life. I hope to share through our new podcast, the 10 Evolution podcast, stories like this that are going to help people get out of the funk and wake up and realize they've had power the entire time. I get to spend a wonderful week at a ranch with actually some of the people in this room. And one of our friends has been strong. She had a rough year. She went through a terrible relationship, lost a long-term job, and was pretty hard on herself. And anyone can get in this situation. And there's a couple ways to deal with this. You can write your way out of it. I heard that today. That's exciting. You can meditate your way out, or you get mad about it. Be determined and say, this is enough, no more. I'm going to make the decisions that I need to make and what I'm going to allow and accept in my life. If we go back and look at the young person that abuse was part of their operating system, and they look and they collect the red flags out there, and they have this experience that's supposed to teach them a lesson, and the relationships end, but they didn't learn the lesson. The situation is going to happen again. The Lord's looking at you. Oh, they didn't learn the lesson? No, all right, bring it the next one. I don't understand why you keep tracking like this. Why does this keep happening to me? You didn't learn the lesson. If you did learn the lesson, you didn't enforce your boundaries. A lot of us are told to be nice. It's one of the most important things that we're never told, that we do nice to ourselves first. We're not taking care of us, taking responsibility for what we're doing. We're not going to be able to do that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Travis. Our next speaker is Mr. Eric Levine. Eric's been speaking globally for over 30 years as a keynote and featured speaker. Eric's distinguished career in the fitness industry started in 1979, where he's worked with and held ownership in many brands, including the first franchise of Gold's Gym, where he ran the 6 most profitable locations, Ray Wilson Fitness Centers, which he helped grow to 72 locations. He launched California Fitness in Asia, and then sold it to 24 Hour Fitness, where he retained a stake until 24 Hour Fitness later sold for $1.7 billion. Eric then founded Planet Yoga and Vikram Yoga, the two studios of its kind, first ever anywhere in the world, first yoga studios. Eric is currently partnered with Revolution Recrafted, a partnership with world boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. The new company is called Hit by Manny and provides a boxing and full body workout in a boutique setting. Eric is also the CEO of Levine Global Fitness Expert, a fitness consulting company specializing in all aspects of the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to bring up Eric to talk about business magic, passion-based profits. I welcome to the stage Eric Levine.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Travis. That took me totally out of my world. Everything I was going to say, thinking about your life. But Travis is a friend of mine, was on this podcast, and I had a wonderful time. So I have 15 minutes. I'll try to tell you a little bit about my life and some tips that I found help me wherever I'm at. So go back to 1979, it's January, and I'm on top of the world. I'm a struggling actor, but I finally got my first big role. And it's with Goldie Hawn, Michael Sarrazin, Peter Flood, and I have a really co-starring role. It's going to be shot in Mardi Gras. And we're rehearsing, and I'm just the happiest possible. Because all I ever wanted to do was an actor. That's all I really studied for. And I'd already spent the money that I was going to get, trust me. And I get called 6 o'clock in the morning by my brother, and he said, "Did you hear the Mardi Gras canceled?" So, he's in Montreal, and he's at 9 o'clock or something. I went back to sleep. Didn't think twice. Make a long story short, Mardi Gras was canceled. Mardi Gras was canceled, the unions went on strike. And my agent had told me this, I'm on Sunset Boulevard, had been raining every day that year. It was a cold day in January, standing on the corner of Sunset Boulevard, West Hollywood, and still in kind of shock. And the tears are trying to come. They hadn't come quite yet until I heard the sound of a Porsche 930 Turbo, Sunoco Blue, my ultimate dream. And I looked to the left and it came right in front of me, and I didn't realize I was standing in front of a huge puddle of mud. And as it tsunamied me, that's when the tears just started to flow. And I just said, okay, I gave up. I'm not going to do this. I get it. The universe doesn't want me to be an actor. And I put my head down and I walked, West Hollywood, from Sunset, where Tower Records is, all the way to PCH, the driving range, walked to Venice Beach, California, took me hours. I left my car wherever it was, I was probably about 100 bucks. And I lied down on my bed, took my boots off, kept everything else on. I am as depressed as you could get. And then all of a sudden, I just looked at the ceiling, which was about 5 feet above me. I was planning one studio apartment in Venice. And I said, okay. I get it. I'm not going to be an actor. That's not what you want. Okay. I don't have a plan B. Schwarzenegger said, don't have a plan A. I didn't have a plan B, even before I heard that. Looking at the ceiling, I said, okay, I'll do whatever you want. Show me a sign. Just show me something. And I fell asleep in that depression, comatose trauma, ice cold feeling. And I woke up in the morning and still feeling the same way. Walked to Gold's Gym, which was where Arnold Schwarzenegger was, Lou Ferrigno, all the monsters. You walked in there dressed. And the women in there were tougher than the guys. There was about 3 or 4. And I'm standing at the front desk, and this beautiful girl walks in and says to me, thinking I worked there, would you train me? Who's this girl talking to? At the time, men and women around the world didn't work out together. Men would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the Jack Spa. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday would be the other sex. That's it. So she says to me, will you train me? I said, do you see this crowd? Do you really feel like you can fit in here? Look at the ladies here. You know, they're warm. They're tougher than any guy in here. Does this seem like a group that you want to work out with? She hesitated and she said, it's kind of culty. It's kind of different. Then being a salesperson, I said, and would your friends come here as well? Sure, my friend would come as well. And the universe just split me in two. And I said to myself, that's it. That's it. I'm going to open up another Gold's Gym. That was the only Gold's Gym in the world. And I'm going to make it for women and men. And we're going to work it together. And this is going to be the next Hard Rock, Harley Davidson, whatever, which now is UFC, and I'll talk about that in a bit. And I'm going to do it. So I went to the owner of Gold's Gym. His name was People Housekeeping Items. And I had a few $1,000 in my bank account. And I simply, I'm not going to tell you a funny story about that, because it's being recorded. But unless I promise me to cut it. And
No, you're lying, baby. It's lying.
it's live. So anyway, I bought the name Gold's Gym, and I'm Canadian from Montreal, so I took it to Toronto, which I thought would be the next best place. And I didn't have enough money to make it happen. So before I left, I went to all the equipment manufacturers and I said, I own the name Gold's Gym for Canada, which is like a showroom. And I ended up getting about $100,000 worth of equipment sent to Toronto. So I'm sitting in Toronto on a wooden crate that was left from the people before me. That's all they left. And I had a telephone, and I put my first ad in the local paper. It was this Gold's Gym, you know, and the phone number. And I get there about 5 in the morning, staring at that phone. Someone called. And with all my visualization, which I never heard, we're going to get back to that, I just waited in at about 6 o'clock, the phone rang. 6 o'clock, I had my first appointment. 6:01, another one. The phone kept ringing until I was exhausted. To make a long story short, so I was only 24, and I had no business experience whatsoever. I worked in the jail at Clelland. I thought I was an actor, I was a stripper, I was a waiter. I didn't have any business experience, okay? And it just took off. It grew because I changed the whole thing from Gold's Gym to Gold's Fitness for women and men. And I concentrated on marketing for women because I knew the men would follow. A bodybuilder would come from 100 miles to use the 200-pound dumbbells, focused on the women, built it to a 6-month chain, and a couple in California, and I sold it, and thought I was going to retire at 30. And I'll get back to a couple of other things. So knowing how to surrender, okay, I'm a driver, and I don't know how to quit. I don't know. But sometimes we're going against the flow, you know, and you have to look at subtleties. Is it happening? Is it not going to happen? I've done my best. I'm not saying don't go 200%, but there's a time you have to flat core on the inside and surrender to the universe with what is the path that you're on. Can it be changed? Should it be changed? So that's what I learned from my Toronto experience with Gold's Gym, and it was very, very profitable. There was the first man in the Hall of Fame. His name is Ray Wilson. He's currently still alive, 96. He invented the life cycle, he invented the Family Fitness Center, and I had heard about him before I sold my gyms. Somehow we connected, and he became my partner. I became his partner, sorry. And we grew to 72 locations over a couple of years. But the important thing about that is I had, the biggest ego probably in the world. And here's this guy, he was 70 at the time, and he wanted to be my partner, and he said to me, do you want to be a one club operator, or do you want to be a 100 club operator? And I knew what he meant, bless him. And to make a long story short, he said, I'll be your mentor under one condition. Again, it's the same thing. Surrendering to his 50 years of experience. He said to me, I'm going to listen to whatever you say, and then I'm going to decide if we're going that way or my way. And that was another milestone in my life. Surrendering to someone who I knew was better than me, but would give me the chance to be who I am. And together, well, it's a double knockout. And the reason why I'm talking about that is because there's so many courses online. I'm a coach, you're a coach, he's a coach, she's a coach. I'm a mentor, I'm an expert, blah, blah, blah. But finding a real mentor, they have to have done what you want to do. If I want biceps, I'm going to go to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Show me what you did. I don't care about someone who's read it in a book and looks good on a graph. There are a lot of people out there that are just simply not qualified. And when you're ready to surrender and you're opening up your vulnerability, your time, your money, that person's got to be right. If you hit it right, you got a great mentor, and us, in our Bellwether group, there's a lot of fabulous people. Look at their resume. Look at their lineage. Who taught them? Who was their master? And do not fall for what's going on the internet where everybody is a certified something. Show me your resume. Show me. And then if you're lucky enough, you should be looking for a mentor. Everyone needs you. Whether you had a childhood like we just heard, which was tears in my eyes, or you had a great one, you still need a mentor. Because things change on a daily basis. But get a real one, okay? So that's another point I want to bring up. When I was in my business career, and one of the things that Ray Wilson, my mentor, told me when I first joined with him, talking about self-image and the subconscious. He grew up in the cotton fields, had 8 brothers and sisters, and never got out of the escape the cotton business. He never made enough money to eat. And he was telling me about how he got out of it and how he had to improve his self-image. Because self-image is the grades of wrath, he has no money, etc., etc. And he had a mentor who taught him a little bit about the subconscious mind. Now, we function in the subconscious mind 95% of our day. 95% of our day is subconscious, the other 5% is mostly reuse thoughts that we go over and over and over again. So if that's the truth, and that's the case, we better get on the subconscious mind, right? We better start to work on it. So he had a system that we all, everyone that joined our company, we had to make a tape. The time was cassette tape. Shows you how old I am, right? And we had to create this tape in our own voice. It could be, somebody else teaching you their voice at your voice. It had to be an affirmation of exactly what you wanted to be, who you wanted to become, who was the image that you wish you were. And over and over and over, you played it till you slept. He wanted to hear about it for 99 days. And in fact, the subconscious, who's been hearing, I'm stupid, 1,000 times, the subconscious has to hear 1,001 time, I'm intelligent, I'm smart. It's a counter. It counts. So you've got to repeat it. Actually, there's no reason to ever stop. Because those 5 minutes before you fall asleep at night, it's the most fertile time to make a change in your life. Remember, 95%, right? So, I've watched throughout my life about people's self-image. And with the tape and changing, lift the ceiling on your self-image, what you think you can and can't do. So, I'll tell you a little bit about my Asian voyage in a minute. But during one of my Asian times, I had a manager in one of my clubs in Hong Kong. He was assistant manager, excuse me. And he was great, he was the next in line. To give you for instance, he was making $10,000 US a month. He was only 22 years old, but he was great. Wanted to be the manager. Then I went up in Singapore, and now it's a space. He's going to be the manager. Went to management training, he was fabulous. Monday morning, he's taking the job, the most successful club in the world. He's going to be a manager, he's 22, he's going to make $20,000 a month. From 10, 22 years old. What do you think? Anybody?
He didn't show up.
Didn't show up. Did I talk about this on the podcast?
Maybe.
Who can answer me why he didn't show up? Sorry? Fear, yes. Fear, and that's part of it, yes.
Unworthiness.
Self-image.
Its unworthiness is the closest thing. His self-image was not that. He didn't see himself being that great at that time, making $20,000, but being in charge of this huge #1 fitness center in the world. His self-image was on a great second. I'm going to be helping somebody else. I can't be the leader. And we are our self-image. So I advise you to keep checking it, but the way to change that is best way is the way I described it earlier. And throughout my voyage of opening up fitness centers around the world, and opened up in 20 countries, I've learned about obviously cultures and people. Visualization, belief, manifestation is the next level of visualization. So I'll give you for instance. So we sell our clubs. I moved to Hong Kong. I don't know anybody, but I've already visualized at this point the perfect location. 40,000 square feet. Nobody had that in Hong Kong. All glass. Ground floor, center Hong Kong. And I already smelled the smells. I heard the music. I saw the laughter. I had the money in my bank account. I had visualized it, and it was 100% clear. I flew across the world. I moved there. I'm not doing this for my health. So I'm leaving a landlord who, he was a master. He could blow cigar smoke, perfect circles, and they hung on my nose. They were just perfect. He was a master cigar smoke. To make a long story short, he said, "No, get out of here, kid. You're not ready to place to you or nobody." So I left there and I hang out again, not as bad as the other one I told you about. And I walked a different way. And as I walked a different way, I hadn't seen this building before, and they were putting a sign up in the window, and I asked the person next to me, what was in Chinese, what does that say? It says for rent. And then I looked, stepped back at the building. It was my building. It was exactly as I manifested. 4 stories, all glass, open, everything. It was perfect, exactly. Next, now what? Okay, but no blood. That is, now I have to get into the building. Again, synchronicity and manifestation. I met another person from Canada, from Montreal, who knew the owner of that building. He had a restaurant called California right across the street. This is like imagine, it's a dream. And I said to him, what are you going to do? He said, no, I'm a fitness center. He says, in Asia, no one's going to work out. Women won't work out. Chinese women won't work out in front of a Chinese man. And blah, blah, blah. And I said, that's the perfect building. I hear what you're saying, Alan, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm here. I'm already here. This is it. Done. Blah, blah, blah. So he sat pretty convinced. He called him over. So this is all within 45 minutes of the cigar smoke breaks. Now I'm meeting the landlord of this gorgeous building. Comes to me, so I hear your friend Alan. Well, he's helping me in London. He said, you want to rent my building? I said, oh, that would be wonderful. He said, $250,000 US a month. That's the rent. And, because I don't know you, 6 months deposit and first and last month. And me, being pretty good at sales, I didn't bid my letter to charge like, oh, that's interesting. No, like, I'm shocked. To make a long story short, and I had a lot of other things to do, but it ran. I turned that first location. In my third year, I made $100 million in sales, $39 million in profit, and opened up in 9 countries to Asia, and it was the most successful fitness centers in the world. And it came from passion. I'm a passionate leader. And I'm also not a dictator, but I don't really believe too much in a lot of the new leadership styles that I'm hearing about. Again, they're coming from academics. Someone wants to teach me about leadership. Show me what you did. Show me how much money you made. And show me your students. Show me what are they doing now? The people that you supposedly led. And a lot of big speakers have no business experience whatsoever. Be careful who you're listening to. Choose the people who have done what you want to accomplish yourself and follow them. And my students are now the biggest CEOs, not just in the fitness center, the fitness world, in all types of businesses around the world. At least 3 of them are worth well over $100 million, all starting from nothing. Personal training, sales, whatever it is. I'm so proud of that. I'm going to finish with one success story, okay? So I moved to Korea, tough time. Korea's tough time. I'm talking South Korea. And I'm talking to PhD students about the business of fitness. We just opened up in Seoul, and it was brand new. And this for PhD students and master students, and this girl comes up to me, speaks English very well, but she's like Rain Man. She's got some sort of psychological problem. She can't look at me, and she can't talk to me. She's cute, and whatever. She was so poor, her toes were going through her shoes on the side, not as supposed to. And she said to me, I need a job. Oh, okay, well, you look so young. Old, she's not 18. So how'd you get your master's? She's a good student. And Korea, third student, though. Keep putting. She's like, my life is a disaster. My mother's sick in the hospital. My father sells fruit. And last year, I made $2,000, $3,000. Can't afford it. I live in a box. No windows, no water, no nothing. And I need a job. Her name was Rob. He said, okay, Rob. I don't know, sometimes you meet people in life, and as a human being, you gotta do something, give back. You got that list, and I said, I can help this person. No. And I said, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to mentor you myself. And I'm going to make a big area of passion. And I'm going to tell everyone, we have 475 locations. All over the world. We had 4 million members, 1 million members. It's a huge company. And I saw the names of every salesperson every day if I wanted to. So I said, come to my hotel, I'm going to teach you for a week. 1 week straight, I gave her every trick I could think of. I gave her everything. She was a great student naturally. She remembered everything I said. Okay? And as I mentioned, her name was Ron. I gave one of my assistants, I don't know, $500. I said, thanks, Ron. Her hair was all different stuff, and can you please make her more presentable? Okay. So she goes to the workforce. I said, hey, Rob, I made an example. Like everybody's looking at your name. You got to make me look good, Rob. Okay. So the first day, I look anxious, nothing. Second day, nothing. A week goes by, and she has something. You know, I mean, we probably had about 70,000 sales staff at the time, 25,000 staff. And I'm so disappointed. I don't know what went wrong to her. We played plans. She's master. I call her and I said, hello, can I speak to you? Just, hey there, how you doing? I said, no, can I speak to Rob? It is Rob. I said, oh, wow, you know, she said I lost my makeup. She was performing last week. I said, hey, this is the greatest thing that saved my life. So, oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I'm going to try harder. Yeah, trying harder, but you haven't made a sale in a whole week. Oh, I forgot to tell you. My nickname is Juliet. I'm fifth in the company. And that first month, she made $12,000 commission. Little tiny Korean girl, which is 6 times more than her father made the whole year. She went on to be the greatest person. She was #1 in the company month. She was promoted to assistant manager. She was promoted to manager in Kansas, Korea 30 years ago. Small little girl, bossy around, big, strong man, 85,000 square foot location. She came to me 2.5 years later, and her team winner account had $900,000. And she showed me how many people she had helped with her charities that she belonged to. She was a very religious person, and how much she would donate. And then she went on to manage all of Thailand. She got married, she had a daughter, and she just one of my favorite stories. So it just, you know, give somebody a chance, or if that somebody's you give you a chance, right? And passion, believe, go for it, go 200%. I always did, never had a plan B. And I hope something I said sparked something in you, but you can do it too. So thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. The next speaker before lunch is Brianna Jackson. Brianna Jackson is the founder of SONIS LLC, a management professional with over 20 years of experience working for the federal government, holding numerous senior and executive level roles within the Department of Defense. She's led, trained, and managed a broad spectrum of diverse teams to maximize coordination and efficiency across interdisciplinary departments, clients, and contractors. Brianna is dedicated to process improvement, from developing policy and procedures to training and leading teams with a mix of military, civilians, and contractors. Additionally, she's driven towards shifting the culture to achieve a more inclusive and resilient world. She's developed various trainings promoting diversity and inclusion and champions the dialogue so important to attaining true inclusion. Help me give a warm welcome to Brianna Jackson. She comes up to the stage, traveling here today with her husband, all the way from Honolulu, Hawaii, as she gives a thought-provoking speech on how to bring inclusion into your everyday practice.
Thank you, Joel. Good afternoon, good morning, everybody. So the first thing we want to talk about is what is inclusion, right? So we hear these terms thrown around a lot today, and if you do a quick of providing equal access for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized. Both definitions are verbs, right? Inclusion is something we do. It is not static. It is a practice. It is an action that you have to take in your day-to-day. So if you actually want to build inclusion in your organizations or in your teams or in your personal life, you have to practice it. You have to do it. But why? Why is it worth it? What's the effort? If you look at statistics, businesses that have a collaborative, inclusive team that makes a decision are 87% more productive than organizations that have decisions made on an individual or group basis. Businesses with high levels of diversity that are actually capitalizing on that diversity yield 2.3 times the amount of cash flow per employee. Businesses with high racial diversity, 15% more sales. Businesses that had equal men and women in their employees, 41% higher revenues. Okay, these are big numbers. These are huge percentages for profitability for an organization. For the businesses that were in the top 25th percentile of being diverse organizations for gender, they went from being 15% more profitable in 2014 to being 25% more profitable in 2019. And if they were ethnically diverse in that top 25th percentile, they were 36% more profitable than other companies who were not that diverse. However, it's not all sunshine and roses. Statistics are also showing that despite all of these benefits, despite all of these metrics about revenue and profitability, we only grew 1% in gender diversity from 2017 to 2019 for a grand total of 15% of the organizations that were diverse. For their, and for those gender diversity, a whole third didn't even have a single female executive. For ethnic diversity, we only grew 2% for a grand total of 14%. Right? So despite all of the profitability, despite all of the increase in sales, increase in revenue, companies just aren't putting a lot of attention into that growth. The companies that did, the companies that were still in the top 25th percentile, when their employees were surveyed, 61% of the workforce said they weren't inclusive. 74% of the workforce said they didn't feel that there was good equality in the company. So despite all the metrics saying this company was doing a great job, we still saw so many people who didn't feel, they didn't experience that in their everyday. So even the companies who at the surface, right, they seem like they're doing pretty good, they're still struggling. So they asked, hey, management, what are you doing about it? 41% of the managers said, I don't have time. I'm so busy in my day-to-day. I don't have time to deal with inclusive initiatives in my day-to-day. So how do you fix it, right? So how do you, as an employee, as a team member, as a team leader, as a supervisor, how do you every day try to fix that yourself? It's not hard, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. I'm going to give you 3 very, very simple steps that you can use every day to try to help grow that inclusion. The step 1, invite your team members to the table. How many times have you walked into a team meeting and there's chairs around the table and there's chairs around the perimeter, and you see that seats at the table are empty, but seats at the perimeter are being filled up? Tell those people to come to the table. Invite your team members to come to the table. It is a very simple and subconscious thing, but you're telling them you belong here, and I want you here. Please come join me at the table. Even if you're nervous about going to the table yourself, go to the table and bring them. Step 2, seek out their input. Now, if it's something you're not sure that they would be comfortable providing that, talk to your team members in advance. By all means, you guys can kind of stage this as well. But in the middle of a meeting, conversation during the meeting. Don't let them sit quietly to the side. The folks who have not had as much marginalization are usually very confident in giving their opinions and perspectives. Go get everybody else and bring them into the discussion. Get their value added to the discussion. And once you have, step 3, validate what they just said. Even if you don't fully agree, hey, that was a really interesting perspective that you just brought. I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit more. Oh, wow, I really love what you just said. What do you think about this piece? Validate what they're bringing, what their contributions are. In doing that, you will not only encourage them to speak up more often, but you will help counter microaggressions in your workplace. You will help counter feelings of belonging, or lack of belonging. You will improve feelings of belonging. And these are all things that everybody says, oh, you have to be able to hit these things in order to truly have inclusion. But who ever defines for you how to take it? 3 simple steps. Bring them to the table, ask for their input, and validate what they say. That process, there's a dual purpose to that. The first and most important piece of it is fostering that belonging, countering those microaggressions, making your team members feel welcome and heard and valued as an individual, right? Companies want to have diverse workforces. They'll set metrics and statistics about how many women to hire or how many minorities to hire, but how do you retain those people? Companies lose millions of dollars every year in training new employees because they can't retain the talent they have because the people don't feel valued. When you grow and foster these feelings of belonging, you're going to prevent that. You're going to retain the best and the brightest folks, and you're going to help them feel very valued. The second piece, and it's more of a subconscious piece, is you model now the right behavior to promote this kind of environment to everybody on your team. At a subconscious level, now everyone on your team is going to do the same things. So if you asked Sam for his opinion at the meeting today, Julie might ask Sam for his opinion at the meeting tomorrow. Modeling is one of the fastest ways that we learn visually. Even if you're a good book learner, having a visual reference for everything that you do is really what can help solidify that training and that education for folks. So you will see other people start to mimic those same behaviors. And plus, because you validated that opinion, now everybody knows, oh, well, Brianna, she's really smart, and if she thinks Sam's really smart, I need to go ask Sam about his perspective on this, right? And so you're growing that inclusive environment, you're growing and fostering that team spirit, and really just building those teams and keeping them cohesive and together. When everyone grows and learns together, that's when you can really develop a truly inclusive environment. You retain your best and brightest talent, and you benefit from a much greater profitability. Thank you.
Hey everybody, we are a little bit ahead of schedule. So, for those who are here with us live, thank you for a second, we're talking to people on the video. Thank you so much for joining us in session 2. If you missed the earlier session, we had session 1. We had speakers. Go ahead and check out the YouTube channel and Facebook channel for that. However, we're gonna have something at 1 o'clock. We're gonna have a LinkedIn training. It's an hour-long training. That is just for the people that are here live. Sorry, I won't be broadcast video. So Ryan, who is running the production, and this slide thing